Forging the Future. I got the name now. I got it down. For like 3 episodes, I couldn't remember it. But here we are, Forging the Future. Will here with Jesus, doing our podcast, doing our thing. And Jesus, what's up, man?
Yeah, today we have a very special guest for you guys. It's our first guest on this podcast, so you know it's going to be a good one. He's a radio host for Mojo in the morning. You can listen to him on 104.5 WSNX and iHeartRadio. He is the co-creator and host of the Slightly Messy Show / podcast. He has over 16 years of experience on air. You might know him as On Air Mike. Let's welcome Mike Aguilar.
Ooh, good. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right.
You did your research too. I like it. I like it.
We're not playing around. We're trying to make this serious as possible.
I like it very much. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Mike, you know, we wanted to bring you on because, I mean, we're kind of new to this. Mm-hmm. We don't know much about it, and you've got the experience, man. So we wanted to bring you on as our very first guest. We were super excited about this, man. And we wanted to kind of just sit down with you, talk to you about your experience and how you started off and all of that. But before we get to all of that,
sure.
I kind of made a comment when you guys walked in. You're looking fit.
Oh, hey.
Getting in shape.
A little bit, yeah.
And, when we're doing a little bit of the research, I noticed online that you're trying to lose some weight. And I saw the before and the after pictures, man. How's that journey going for you, man?
Good. Down. So I worked with a company called Ideal You, and it basically restarted my metabolism. It taught me how to eat better, and it's a lifestyle that I kind of have stuck with since then. And I was at 180, and I'm a short dude. Like I'm
definitely 6'7".
We'll edit that out.
Right. And so I did the program, lost 40 pounds on it. And so now I'm in the process of going back to the gym and getting in the gym again. Because with that program, you don't have to go to the gym or anything. It's literally restarting your whole body and all that. So
is it like a body recomposition type thing?
Yes. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. So it's essentially taking the stuff that you would normally eat anyway. So steaks, chicken, and all that kind of stuff. And, taking out certain oils, taking out and adding certain, other elements to restarting your metabolism, because a lot of our metabolisms have slowed down over the years. And I know for mine with kids and stuff, it was genuinely, weighing on me, and I didn't even realize it till I started looking at pictures from the past.
Right.
And I'm like, man, and I started getting more. I have a 8-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I was not moving along with that 8 and 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And so I watched the host of Mojo in the Morning, Mojo, do it, and he lost the weight, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah.
And it works. I literally pound each day. Yeah. Every single day I was dropping a pound, and then it's a matter of continuing the lifestyle, continuing eating what I was. What we all genuinely eat anyways. Yeah. And then now I've decided to work out. Maybe give an ab or two if I can.
Can I ask how long did that process take for you to lose that weight, that 40 pounds?
Honestly, so the first time, because I did it twice and I kind of slipped on the first one. If I'm being genuine with you, I screwed up.
We
and
all fail when it comes to stuff like that for sure.
Yeah. But this wasn't like you see those shake diets and those, you take a bunch of pills and this isn't like that. This is a completely, almost like a lifestyle change. Yeah. And the first time I failed. And so I put on a little bit more weight. And then my wife, who had just had a baby, wanted to do it with me. And it was kind of the best way to do it because you got support there and in the house. And so the second time around, it took me, it is a pound a day. So it's about 40 days. You could do it in 40 days if you stick to it. And then it's a matter of not going back to what you were eating. I was eating a lot of sugar. Yeah. I was eating a lot of stuff that just genuinely put on a lot of weight for a short guy like me. Because 10 pounds for me looks huge because I'm such a...
It can only go one way, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
One direction. Yeah, so I'm getting into that same thing. Right before the pandemic started, I was really into it. Getting Planet Fitness, doing my thing.
Sure.
And then COVID happened, everything shut down.
Yeah,
and then I gained like 25 pounds during the whole thing.
Okay.
So I'm just getting right back into it as well. Bought a bunch of equipment for the basement, so I'm down there working out. Just on Wednesday, I was doing some weightlifting. Yeah, my muscles are killing me. My arms are.
So how do you do the home gym? I can't do the home gym, man.
So the only reason why I started doing the home gym is because when the COVID happened, everything shut down, right? And I didn't have any way to exercise, and I gained all that weight because there was what else was I going to do but eat, right?
Right.
So I decided, I'm not going to have that happen again. I'm not going to have any excuses. I still go to Planet Fitness, but on the days where I can't make it, I get out of work late or, I'm at church or whatever and I get home late. I go home and I don't have that excuse. So my gym is like right next to the man cave.
Okay.
So I have my TV right there. So
Sure.
I see the equipment.
Right.
And so at that point, it's like, I don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
So it does take a little effort to actually get up. But once you get into it,
Yeah.
once I'm in there for about 10 minutes, then I'm going.
See,
There's no stopping.
I have to separate the house from the gym.
Yeah.
I can't I have equipment. I have a treadmill.
Yeah.
But I think if I got the whole equipment down in the basement, I
Yeah.
think I would literally start putting clothes and it would just sit there.
Right.
I have to separate and put my mindset into the gym because I started doing 2-3 days a week.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I'm eating like this, but also I'm going to splurge a little. Like I think we got B-dubs coming in here right now. I'll eat some B-dubs, but also I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go, yeah. Now it's just balance.
Yeah, that's really all that is balance.
Yeah.
And I think our situations are a little different. You got the 2 kids. I don't have kids.
Oh, I'm moving. I'm counting steps
Yeah,
without even going to the gym.
Yeah, so exactly. So I really don't have anything else. So I go home after work and I'm
Okay.
like, if I want to stay fit, if I want to stay as young as I want to feel, I got to do this.
Sure.
I have to do this. And and you had mentioned earlier about your wife being that kind of support. The same thing with my wife. She had lost a whole lot of weight.
Okay.
She's looking phenomenal. Not that she didn't look great before.
No,
She was
I get
still
what you're
beautiful,
saying. Yeah,
but
sure.
she lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like motivated me. Like if she's doing this and she's looking awesome, I want to look awesome for her as well.
Yeah, I get
so
it.
every time I see that stuff, I'm like, do it for her, if not for yourself.
Yeah.
So, it is tough. The first 10 minutes is always a challenge, but once I get into it, I put on a movie or, some show and I just zone out and go at it, man.
We're going to just turn into a gym, whole gym conversation. But do you use, so we talked about this on Mojo in the morning.
Yeah.
I just started do you use any sort of pre-workout or any of that kind of stuff?
No, so I actually had a friend of mine who got me into it and showed me all the different things that I could do. And I
Okay.
did ask him about that. And he's into weightlifting. He's a pretty built guy.
Okay.
And he said he doesn't do the pre-workout stuff because it's a lot of sugar. And he says, unless you're trying to put on more muscle
I think it
and you're
helps,
willing
too.
to burn.
Do you
So
think
you
it
got
helps?
Jesus here. Jesus,
I think it
he actually goes to work out to put on muscle.
Okay.
And so it works out for him. That's what this guy told me. If you put it on, you got to really work it to put more muscle on. I'm not looking to put muscle on. I'm just looking to get fit.
Right.
And so I don't do it.
I think you have to think about putting on muscle, even if you're just trying to get fit.
Yeah.
Because it's still the same end goal, right? And you got to start pushing heavier weights. But I do take pre-workout. I think it helps my mindset when I'm in the gym. And I'm trying to lift those last couple weights. It really helps me get through that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I also take creatine.
Okay.
Have you heard about that?
I've heard of creatine. I just went to the store and bought the pre-workout, and I only tried it once, and it was sort of on accident. So I was mixing it up because I was going to go to the gym, and then I forgot my child had an open house that day, so I had to go do that. And it was 3:00 in the afternoon. I do morning, so I'm up at 4 a.m. So I'm exhausted. I'm like, I can either grab a cup of coffee or slam of water,
Right.
or I have this pre-workout, which I've never tried before.
Yeah.
Jeez, you never had it before that.
Before that moment, no.
Oh man.
No. So I had no idea. So I drink it because I'm thinking it's like an energy drink, but almost like a healthier version of it.
Yeah,
Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I slam it and we get in the car, and within minutes, I feel tinglies in my arms,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Stomach filled?
no, I just felt like my
Okay.
skin was gonna shoot off of my arm, and I'm like, let's go. So I guess I was at the open house. Like now, but like way times a million, just talking their ear off. Just like, hey, so where's this at? My daughter's trying to do the tour with us. And I'm like, so where's this? What do we got to do? I'm dripping sweat. I'm like, I had no idea what it was.
What is this guy on?
Yeah.
It makes you feel like Superman when you take it.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever decide to put some muscle on, I'll make sure to do that. But speaking of working hard,
Yeah.
we do want to get into a little bit of your work history.
Okay.
So, you've been doing Mojo, and I think according to the research, it's the longest running morning show in Michigan history.
Yeah. Over
That's
20 years.
phenomenal. So you guys been there since 2000, is that correct?
Yes.
Man,
So
that's
the
awesome.
show has. I became a part of the show in 2017.
Okay.
But that. So
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about the history. So you've been a part of that show since 2017, but you have about 16 years of experience. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the whole entertainment, I guess, the whole entertainment aspect of your lifestyle, I guess.
Okay. So let's see. Where do I start?
Yeah.
When I was in college, I was going to transfer from GRCC to Grand Valley I heard communications was the thing to do if you wanted to go for entertainment.
Okay.
And I had gotten into stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay.
That was always a dream of mine, was
Never
to do
knew that
stand.
about you.
Yeah. I wanted to do stand-up comedy. And then at one point I thought I was going to be a record producer. I was going to go to Full Sail and I was going to move to Florida and I was going to be the next Kanye West.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
You're right.
Instead, I went to college and was transferring to Grand Valley while selling. You ever heard of Cutco knives?
No, never heard.
It's
of
like
that.
a pyramid scheme of knives. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah. So you go around, sell knives, but you get
Other people to sell.
you
it
get
and
other
make
people
their money.
Yes,
Yeah, I got you.
yeah. So I was doing that at the same time, and there was a giant book with jobs like for while you're going to school at JRCC. And I'm flipping them through the book or whatever, and there was a internship at a radio station at the one I'm at now. And it said, we're starting a new morning show. We're looking for interns. And I signed up for it. I'm like, they call me. And I was at a Panic at the Disco concert. Yeah. Well, I was emo. I was emo at one point, eyebrow ring and all.
I remember hearing about those.
Yeah. So, and I get the phone call and they're like, come on in. And I went in. I was the only one that went in with because they, you go in for those interviews. There's a bunch of people that come in and interview for those.
Yeah.
And I was the only one that showed up with everybody had excitement. Everybody was interested in entertaining, but I showed up with a notepad. And they said that was one of the things that stuck out to them. And
You're
they
taking it serious.
Yeah. And so they invited me back in. And the second they turned on the mic and I was able to talk on a microphone, I quit everything.
Yeah.
I quit school. I wouldn't recommend that to everybody,
No, but you got hooked, right?
Yeah. Instantly. And so quit selling knives. I also was working in a factory. I quit doing that.
Yeah.
And they brought me in for like a 5-hour a week gig. And
Sweet.
I
never looked back.
Wow. Learned every ounce of that I could. Took in everything that I could from everybody that I worked with.
All right.
Did you practice any stand-up?
Yeah. I used to take you remember Pez, the candy Pez?
Yeah.
I used to have a Ninja Turtle Pez dispenser, and I would, in front of my girlfriend, who's now my wife, I would practice in front of her. It was terrible. There's videos.
Is there videos really?
There's
I was just about
videos
to
somewhere.
ask. I got to look
I
those
did
up.
make it to a finals of a stand-up competition they used to have at Dr. Grant's.
So you weren't that bad then.
I wasn't great, but they're bad moments. They're really bad moments.
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
When you hear these interviews from other stand-up comedians, and they all say you have to be willing to be bad if you're going to do that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's not shocking, but if we wanted to find a video,
It's hidden on YouTube.
Okay.
I have it. I even have
right.
video of me practicing with a Pez dispenser.
so
but
do we look up Mike Pez?
it's hidden. I have it on my YouTube and it's hidden.
All right,
but
you're gonna have to share
maybe
that with us
someday.
later on.
Yeah, maybe someday I'll bust it out.
Spencer,
Yeah, right.
We'll look for that. We'll look for that for sure.
who's your favorite stand-up comedian?
Right now or
Yeah.
over?
Overall.
Overall.
Okay. Because I went through different stages of who I liked, and then they just kind of fell off. But I think one overall, if I went through like the history of like the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, I think Dave Chappelle, even though he's controversial,
Oh, dude.
he's
one of the greatest to ever do it. And then there wouldn't be a Dave Chappelle without Eddie Murphy, and there wouldn't be an Eddie Murphy without Richard Pryor. Yeah. I think Chris Rock is amazing.
Yeah.
I think Tom Segura is amazing.
Tom Segura, and he does it in English and Spanish. Have you seen his podcast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
pretty
Two
good.
Bears, or what is it? Two Bears, One Cave.
He's got so many.
Or maybe there's a couple.
podcast, but he's got quite a few things going on right
It
now.
might be that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that you were able. So, is that what you were shooting for? Is to be like this big stand-up comedian? Is that what it was, or you just wanted to get into entertainment?
I just wanted to get. It was entertainment at one point.
Yeah.
And I think at one point it went through again. It was different. It evolved over time. So when I was a kid, I would listen to like P. Diddy and the Family. Remember that "More Money, More Problems" song?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd grow up listening to that, and I wanted to be a rapper at one point. And then like
Videos of
Eminem.
you rap, and then we can find it.
There's no. You know what? There is. You know what? So my mom. Oh my God, that's so funny. Core memory just popped up. So my mom has somewhere. She wanted me to be a Christian rapper at one point.
all right.
There was a Christian rapper named T-Bone.
T-Bone. I remember T-Bone.
Yeah, and she's like, and there it was like I don't know if it was a talent contest or what it was, but there's a video of that somewhere too.
All right.
and I was
Spencer. You got some homework to do.
so I went, but I went through stages. I wanted to be a rapper, and then I used to take out pictures of my friends on our yearbook and make old school rap. You remember CD cases?
Yeah.
I would make CD cases with my pictures on them, and I would show them. And then I went through.
Oh yeah, you were an entertainer.
Yeah.
Sure,
Oh, in school. Yeah. I just didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know what I wanted, how I wanted to focus that energy. And, I was a good kid in school, but like I would always get in trouble for, being the class clown or doing something in front of it. It was never anything serious, but it was always something.
Yeah.
Always something. I don't know.
So, we've got this history with you guys. We've partnered up with WSNX or iHeartRadio.
Sure.
Being a part of Forge Industrial Staff, and we do quite a few advertisements with you guys, promos, and you really do help us out. I mean, you mention us quite often through your show in the morning, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. for those of you who are wondering, Mojo in the morning.
Yeah, and then you can listen again right after that. I'm on till 1 o'clock and middays.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And you do a phenomenal job.
Oh, thank you.
And you help us out tremendously. For a while there, I don't know if you're still doing it, but you did work through us. You applied with Forge Industrial Staffing, is that right?
Yeah. I needed some extra money.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I just needed extra money. I don't remember exactly what
It's probably because you had another kid.
It could have been. It could have been.
And so you came through us, and I think that was the first time I actually met you face to face. I heard you in the morning. I heard you on the radio, but I think that was the actual first time that you came in and we saw you face to face. And that made me even more of a fan of you, because here's a guy that, you're promoting something, but you're willing to also use it, right? Get into it. And so that was an awesome thing. I really did appreciate that. And I know we sat down for a little while and helped you through that process. And I really became more of a fan. And so I was like, I really got to listen to this guy.
Thank you.
So yeah,
it's been a great partnership between you guys and us. You guys have been great from day one.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, there aren't many times I could say that I would, from day one, see myself, working with you guys forever.
Yeah.
There aren't many times that I would say that I wouldn't either, but you guys were just great from day one, and you guys stuck with us even through the hard times, like through the pandemic. Yeah. You guys were still there, and you're still getting your message out. And the message from day one hasn't changed from the message today, which is we are trying to help people find a job. Yeah. And, being somebody who went through it myself, I kind of saw from personal experience, what it took and how focused you guys were. And I love working with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that we talked about on one of our previous podcasts is that we want to be invested in our community. Yeah. 104.5 WSNX. I mean, that's a part of our community. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't listen to WSNX in the morning on their way to work? So you guys are a huge part of this community. And so that's one of the reasons why we enjoy partnering with you guys. Aside from the fact that John doesn't give up. He's constantly there.
He's
definitely the man.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, we do appreciate the fact that we're able to partner with somebody locally, right? And that local talent, the people here in Grand Rapids, and being able to partner up with something like that and invest more into our community. I mean, that's what we're all about. That's what we want to be about. And we want people to know that, with Forge Industrial Staffing, that's their focus is their investment in the community and the people of the community. That's the only way we're success. So
I also appreciate the tickets you gave us for Breakaway, dude.
Oh yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah. Who was your favorite?
DJ Snake.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. I didn't get to see, I forgot the guy's name, the first guy that performed on Friday. But I did see DJ Snake.
Chainsmokers?
Chainsmokers.
Yeah.
I seen them too. But
what is it?
Overall, dude, the vibe, awesome.
Yeah. What about, did you see Young Gravy?
Young Gravy, dude, that's the person I didn't get to see.
Oh.
No, I missed out, man. I was upset. And then on Saturday, there was a storm. So some people we had to leave for a little bit, but we came right back and it was nice.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
For those of you guys who are wondering what's going on right now, once in a while, WSNX or iHeartRadio comes through with some tickets for us, and we use those and giveaways on Facebook, with Forge Industrial Staffing, and we definitely give some of those tickets away to the internal employees. So Jesus was able to enjoy and reap the rewards of that.
Yes.
You should. You guys deserve it.
No, they definitely deserve it. You guys definitely deserve it. So I'm glad that you guys were able to experience that as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So, talking with you, Mike, being able to do what you do, I mean, do you have any tips for us? What could we do to make sure that, I mean, you do a podcast. We were just talking about that a little earlier.
You had Fantasy Junkies at one point, right? That was one of the podcasts that you were doing?
That was a kind of a brief startup project, and I kind of wish we stuck with it. I still have the name and I still have the photos and stuff, but a buddy of mine who was doing it in the beginning no longer works with the company anymore. It doesn't mean we still couldn't do the podcast. But at the time, I think it was before I'd even started DJing, like physically DJing in clubs and events and stuff. At the time, the focus on podcast wasn't there. And the energy, even with people doing podcasts, and I want to say even the company wasn't fully focused on doing that type of stuff. I don't remember the exact dates of when we started that. But I think now today, something like that could be successful.
It could definitely be successful. I feel like there's a lot of podcasts that focus on sports and entertainment. So, I mean, if you guys bring it back up, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And even you're the first person that's ever mentioned that podcast, ever in the history of ever.
Yes, did some research.
Your current podcast. What is the name of that podcast?
The Slightly Messy Show.
Slightly Messy Show.
So that is a girl. Her name's Megan. She's a co-host as well on Mojo in the Morning, and her and I are both from different cities, different affiliates, I guess, from Grand Rapids and Toledo. Okay. And obviously the goal is to one day host our own show. You know, there's Mojo and Spike and Shannon. Those are the big head honchos on the morning show. Yeah. And the goal at some point is to get to that level. Okay. And at one point I was doing nights and I was going to do afternoons and was going to focus on more of like running a station and that aspect. And then I got brought into this morning show because I mean, it's a legendary morning show. I thought, why not at least say that I did this, and it relit the fire. Yeah. Relit the morning show fire. And ever since then, that is the goal. That's
Well, I mean, your podcast does pretty well. I think it's like rated in the top 100 for iHeartRadio podcasts.
The Mojo is top 100. Okay. The Slightly Messy Show is in one of the top in between. It was rated with. So we do a more Mojo podcast. Yeah. It's rated with that one. It gets a couple thousand. It does pretty well. Yeah, it does pretty well.
And for the ones that don't know, what is that podcast about?
It is two millennials, so both her and I are roughly the same age, who are at completely different stages of their life. Yeah. And it's basically living our life like we do on the morning show, but having more of a platform to talk. Because we have 6 people on that show, so only certain times do we get to talk. In this, it's just the 2 of us. Yeah. So we can talk as long or as little as we want.
Right. And how messy does it get?
It's a great question. It's just slightly.
Slightly.
No, because even if somebody says, I got 2 kids, I'm married with a mortgage, but nothing is ever perfect. There's always a little bit of messiness. There's always a little bit. Anybody who says they have everything put together, they're lying. They're 110%. And she's, no kids. She's single. She's, right now just went to Harry Styles in New York and is on her way back to do some event in Toledo. Like, she's everywhere. And I feel like that's the cool thing is you get all aspects of being a millennial, and we are both very, very invested in each community. Yeah. And now being with the morning show too, we're able to kind of do a local show at a larger level. So I'm going to travel to Detroit, and I'm going to go travel to Toledo, and they're going to come here, and it's just it was a cool idea, cool concept from the beginning, and it's kind of starting to work out.
You're a millennial yourself. And it doesn't sound like you have any time to relax. You got 2 kids. You're out there. You're in between Detroit, Toledo here. Yeah. You're invested in the community. You've got multiple shows going on. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool to hear that. Jesus here, he's a millennial as well.
We're multitaskers.
Yeah. He's definitely. You have to be. He doesn't sit around either. I mean, he's going to school. He's working full time. Sure. He's doing this. He's doing that. So it's really cool to kind of see that. And I work with at our church, our youth group. Okay. So I work with them quite often, and I see the exact same thing. And so I hear these misconceptions of these millennials who are lazy and they just want to get paid, and I'm like, that's not what I see. That's not what I'm hearing here. They're willing to do it. It's just got to be something that they're invested in, something that they like to do. Yeah. So when you have somebody who they don't want to do, they don't want to be a fry cooker. Obviously, they're not going to go in there with all their heart. Right. They're gonna hate the job. Right. Who can blame them for that? But if you get them invested in something that they really want to do and that they really love, they're going to give all their heart into it. So I mean, you guys right here, just hearing you guys talk, that's exactly what it's like.
Do you feel like to add to what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's also there's other factors that go into it, like, and you guys see a lot of people come in, and I'm sure they answer these questions all the time too, like work environment. I have, the environment that I have is a bunch of people who support you, who will, give you the tools you need to get where you need to be. If I need to take some time off, there's never a question. You know what I mean? There's never like, ooh, I don't know if we can. It's always like, how much time do you need? What can we do? I got a great boss. I got great coworkers like John. And do you feel as though it's environment as well? Do you feel as though it's compensation as well that keep millennials motivated, or do you think they just need to be interested in doing it?
So I too am a millennial. If you look at the age, the year I was born, I'm a millennial. I don't consider myself a millennial though.
Okay.
I just have that old school mentality of, you got a responsibility, you go to work, even if you don't like it.
Sure.
You go to work and you take care of business. That's my mentality. But I do notice, being a manager myself and having a lot of people who work with me who are also millennials, I feel like it's just a mixture of different things. You got to be able to find that balance of what exactly works. So, you got to make sure that pay rate is competitive enough. Right. So if they're hearing about this other position where they're doing the exact same thing at this other company and they're getting paid more, why wouldn't they leave to go to that position? Right. So you got to make sure that you're competitive, but at the same time, maybe your pay rate's a little lower, but if you're making it fun, if you're making it to a point where the people feel like they're actually being productive and they're investing in something that actually counts, we're not making money for somebody who lives in Wisconsin or making money for somebody who lives somewhere else. Right. We're actually invested in what we're doing. We're producing something. We're investing in the community. We're investing in our future. I do think that is even better than the pay rate for a lot of these guys and for myself. I come into my job and I do enjoy what I do. I really do enjoy what I do. Where I'm going in and I'm helping people find work. And I use that tool at my church. I use that tool with my family. I use that tool when I'm on the streets. If I see somebody kind of struggling, I try to help them out, but I also let them know, hey, my job is to help people find work so that you can get back on your feet. Right. So I use that as a tool and I feel like I'm investing in somebody. I'm investing in somebody's future. Sure. But I also work for a company that also likes to compensate me. If I do a good job, they're willing to throw in a few $100s. They're willing to.
It's not a bad initiative.
Right. They're willing to buy lunch or buy dinner. Yep. So, it's a combination of those things. Sure. You want to feel like you're doing something, but you also want to feel like somebody appreciates your work. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
I don't know if Jesus, how you feel about that.
I think environment is a big factor when it comes to these things because, for example, at our office, I'm surrounded by people that are hungry, that really want to go after it. And we compete against each other. And I don't think if it was for that, I wouldn't be so invested into what I'm doing. If I'd seen that the people I was working with weren't motivated or they didn't want to go after the things that they want, I don't know if I'd have the same mindset. So I do think that if you surround yourself with people that are also, outgoers, that you'll definitely achieve those things. But the next topic that we really wanted to get into was quiet quitting, right?
I've heard of this.
So this is a really big topic right now, right? According to LinkedIn, quiet quitting is about rejecting the notion that work has to take over one's life and that employees should go above and beyond what their job description entails.
So I'm gonna probably show my age a little bit here. I think I'm the oldest one here on this show. And with that being said, I just found out what quiet quitting is. Yeah. Like literally on Wednesday, I'm just going through Facebook and there was just one of these funny videos and they were talking about quiet quitting. I'm like, what is that? So I had to look it up. So it's kind of funny that we bring it up today, but it's a funny topic. I think it's always been around.
It always has been around.
It's a thing that's
but now
always
it has
been
a
around.
title.
But now it has a title and we make fun of it now.
Do you think that though? Well, you say it's a funny topic. I think it's happening. And I think do you think that the pandemic has almost has shown people that it is possible to do this and you should only do what you're compensated to do?
Well, I always think the mentality should be that, we don't live to work. The mentality should be, I'm working so that I can have a life.
Right.
So, and I think that for a long time there, we're talking about, from the 80s probably all the way through probably up until the pandemic. The mentality was work all the time. And people really didn't have a life.
Yeah.
I think what the pandemic did was force a lot of people, they had to stay home, and when they had to stay home, now they're making these connections that they lost with their family, with their kids, with their wife, their husband. And they were like, whoa, I missed this. Work isn't that important.
Right.
Doing what I was doing at my job isn't that important. I still need to pay the bills 100%, but it's not as important as having that time with my family, with my friends.
Sure.
And so I think that we still hold on to that mentality, which I think is a good thing. I do have a job where it does require a lot of my time, but I have to sit down once in a while and just say, hey, what's important to you right now? Is it the job or is it your wife? Is it the church? Is it, your friends? What's more important to you in your life? And so, it's important to me to make money so that I can pay the bills and put food on the table. But what's the point of putting food on the table if nobody's there to enjoy it, right?
That's a good point, yeah.
So, that's my mentality. So this whole quiet quitting, I do believe that we should give 110% in whatever we do. But if you don't like what you're doing, then find something where you can give 110%.
It's like work-life balance.
Yeah.
You got to have that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Tom Brady getting out of retirement?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I feel like if you haven't,
Do you think he has a good work-life balance?
I don't think his wife thinks he has a good work-life balance.
There was just an article. About
Yeah,
it.
she doesn't live at his house anymore right now.
Yeah.
She's sleeping somewhere else. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's really going on. That's all speculation. I have no idea.
Right.
But I think I like his mentality of going as long as he's gone, because he's doing something nobody else has done before. Yeah. He's a legend already. He could stop now if he wanted. Yeah. But why not go until you can't go anymore? Now, if it is affecting his home life, and this is the reason that they're sleeping in two separate places, I would say, man, stop now. Yeah. Stop immediately. It's there is no job there is no job. And I love my job. If iHeart is watching it, I love my job a lot. But if it came between choosing my family and my job, I would choose my family all day. Doesn't
Always.
matter.
Yeah. Of
Doesn't
course.
matter. Even if I was Tom Brady, it wouldn't matter. There's a million. I mean, realistically, there's a million things he could do besides play football. Yeah. But like, if he has to choose between football and his family, like, family's first every time.
Family should be first every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he is a legend. It is great to watch him. He could still play. That's the thing, is that he can still play. So I understand his mentality, but like you said, like if that's the case, if it's breaking up your family, why would you do it?
Do you think he's gonna have a good year? I don't. I genuinely don't think he's gonna have a good year.
I think he started definitely to start off on that foot.
I think he has the skills. I think he has talents to make it a good year.
You're such a man. What a manager answer.
I'm sorry.
What a manager answer.
I think he does. But I do think that your personal life is going to take effect on what you do.
Yeah. If given the opportunity, I really think he could. It's such a manager answer. That's not a yes or no.
But I do think his personal life is going to have a toll.
Sure.
Toll on his game.
Sure.
His mind's not going to be in it. He's going to be thinking about some other stuff. So.
Sure.
I would love to see him play awesome.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite players, but you get to a certain age where those things aren't as important as it used to be.
Right.
And it does reflect in your game. So I'm sad to say that, no, I don't think he will be as awesome as he usually is.
Talking about managers, what do you call somebody that asks to speak to your manager?
A Karen.
A Karen. Do you think that we are in a Karen era?
Well, Spanish,
right
Karina.
Karina.
We definitely are. I mean, just this morning we were talking about, there was a lady at our office who went to McDonald's this morning. And while she was in line, drive-through line, a guy like parked right next to her, got out of the car, stepped in front of her car and went up to the window. And there was something going on with this drink. And like, there was an altercation. And she's just sitting there like, if this goes off, I'm going to have to run this dude over. And so, she came back and said, you guys got to check out this Karen. I don't know what the male version of it is, but yes,
Carl?
definitely. I mean, we're definitely in that era. And I don't know where it stems from. Where's the frustration coming from? But I definitely think it's more relevant today. Huh?
Entitlement, what do you say?
No, because it's usually these older people. You know what I mean? And I don't know if there's never been an issue with older people, the entitlement. With that older generation, it's work hard to get what you want. All right. And so I don't know if it's entitlement. I don't know where it stems from. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
I genuinely don't know either. I think it's more being, I bet it's happened, but even before we knew it was happening, I think there's just more cameras. I think people are capturing it more. I think it's being,
that's another thing.
Always been a thing.
it could have been always a thing, and nobody had any idea because nobody was recording videos and posting it everywhere. And because I've seen people ask for the manager, I'm sure I've asked for a manager at one point, you know. But I think it's more when you get those explosive ones, you know, the true Karens. Then you're seeing it because people have a phone, access at all times.
Yeah, and it's scary because you don't know how exactly they're going to react to the situation.
Right.
You know, I mean, it could most of the time it's just somebody who wants to yell.
Yeah.
But you never know when it's going to be that one time.
And I would hope that my hope when you start seeing these videos is that people would stop doing it. It would be like a learning tool. Like they would see this and go, you know what? I could be on camera at all times. I should just, I mean, you should be a genuinely good human anyways, but you would think that this would be some sort of like a learning tool to help people start to act like decent human beings all the time because you never know. And I don't think that's happening. I think people, or we're just recording it more. But my favorite thing in the entire world is when people get overly mad like that in public. Yeah. And then like they can't express that anger. Like I was at the mall one time and this guy got furious and I have no idea what he was yelling about. Yeah. He was yelling in the food court and stormed off. But he had to go down the escalator. So he storms off and he's pissed off and he's yelling and he goes to stand. He stands on the escalator and just slowly goes down. You're like, how can you be pissed off? You know what I mean? How do you get mad?
And everybody just staring at him.
Yeah.
You gotta love those moments, man. But we get a few moments like that. I mean, even in life, I mean, where we say, I have to sometimes. I mean, just the other day, I was going down Muskegon River, and I saw this guy pick up a can out of the river and throw it at these ladies in their kayak. And the ladies look back at him, they take the can out and they throw it back at him. And so the whole, it was a whole misunderstanding. The can had floated down from the river and this guy thought these ladies had thrown the can in there. Okay. So he was kind of like, you know, take your trash, you know, try to keep it clean, you know, and I can respect that, you know, we got to keep this stuff clean. Right. But he misunderstood and thought it was them. And so they threw it back and they're like, that's not us, that's your people. And so they going back and forth and I'm floating down the river and I see this happen and the guy goes to pick up the can and I thought he's going to throw it back at the ladies. And so I get out of my tube and I'm supposed to be there relaxing. It's a lazy river experience. And I'm supposed to be relaxing. And I started yelling at this guy and I'm like, yo, you got a problem? And we started going at it. This has nothing to do with me. And it was just the fact, I think what triggered me was the fact that I thought he was going to throw this can back at these two ladies. And they were older ladies. Sure. And it just got under my skin. And so we're going back and forth. And then his buddy gets in and he's yelling at me. And at that moment, I realized it's 6 of them. 6 guys.
You could have got jumped, man.
Yeah. Ooh. So I'm like, all right, chill out, relax. So I say, you know what? My bad. You know, if you want me to take the can, I'll take the can, but there's no point in throwing it at the ladies like that, man. What are you know, that's disrespectful. You know, they're just kind of just chilling there. And so we kind of apologized. He took the can, he took the trash. But, you know, it's moments like that where you don't even realize when it happens. But if you can come to yourself, calm down. Right. It's never that big of a deal. No, right. It's never that big of a deal.
That's another one of those situations too, where like, if something had gone down and they started charging at you, now they have to trudge through water. So how mad, like how are you not going to laugh at that?
They're going to come through that water and me running away to my tube.
Splashing everywhere. You jump
trying to run away.
Paddle away.
Everybody was sitting around. Some of the people are drinking. They're like, what is this? What's going on? For sure. But yeah.
All right. I think we got that Karen video ready.
Okay.
So this is the worst Karen moment. All right.
So she's in line at Subway.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It looks like her demeanor already, the way she's standing already. Hand on the hip, she's arched over. I can't tell if she has a straw or a pen in her hand.
There's something definitely in her hand.
Yeah, she's about to yell. What do you guys know what the video is already, or do you want to guess on what she's yelling about?
Based on what's in her hand, it's probably a drink.
You think so?
Yeah, she got the wrong drink.
She got the wrong drink. Well, you have to get those yourself at Subway, don't you?
Oh, that makes it even better. If that's the case. She's definitely not going to be happy about something that she got. But I don't know if we got the sound. Let's see here.
Respect your customers.
Oh, it's glasses.
Oh, it's glass.
Tell them you don't respect your customers. Would you finish my sandwich?
Coca trio. A Coca trio.
She's like, oh shoot, they caught me.
I think the older generation doesn't think the younger generation has respect for them.
Finish my sandwich.
And I think quite often that
you're
is
gonna
an
be
issue. That's what I was saying. I don't know if it's a.
So I've worked.
Call your
Oh, she's gonna
supervisor
report
right
him.
now. Please
She's
call
calling
her
Mr.
right
Subway.
now.
Did you say reported or deported?
To who?
Need to call her while we're
The
gone.
person that's
No, no, she wants the supervisor.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to her.
Toasted. Toasted.
Yeah.
Toasted.
Jared.
Get Jared on the phone.
I have 3 orders.
No
Still
cheese.
putting her order in.
Well, yeah, if I was in line, I'd be pissed. That's the best way to handle that situation. That's the best
Yeah,
way to
just make it go
de-escalate
away.
that situation. And,
Oh,
and
TikTok.
It makes the other person so angry. So especially when we get complaints over the phone, when you just smile and you just have a kind voice. I've never yelled at somebody. I've never in the history in
It's
the
not
16
worth
years.
it.
No, it doesn't do anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't do anything, and then you could ultimately get in trouble yourself if you react that way.
Well, you're the professional.
How do you
Supposed to be.
de-escalate those situations over the phone? Do you just hang up or do you try to calm the
I
person?
swear a lot at him. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally joking.
Slams the phone on the
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
You're getting disconnected.
Well, first they just want to be heard. So she just whatever's happening here, she just wants to be heard. She wants to vent, she wants to complain, she wants to know that whatever she's saying or complaining about is being taken serious. Now I don't know what's happening in the Subway situation.
Right.
I've worked at Subway. I know that if there's only one person in that line right there, it's very difficult to keep things in order, and sometimes ingredients aren't cut up right then and you have to do 8 million things.
Right.
So it's a very hard job. It doesn't seem like it, just looking at it,
Yeah.
it might not seem like it is a very hard job, but working at Subway was one of my first jobs, and it was one of the hardest things I ever did. Because they're watching you cook it.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
McDonald's and all that stuff, you put it together and you hand a package.
Yeah.
They're
And they're
literally staring at you.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it correctly, because there's a certain amount of things you have to put on a side.
I feel like I do that unintentionally. Like when I go to Chipotle and they don't put enough guac, I'm like, you mother. Like,
Well, see, you feel like you're getting judged. You feel like you're getting
and when you order online, I feel like they put less, right?
Okay.
But when you order in person, you have the opportunity to like stare them down.
Well, they feel that.
They feel that,
They
right?
feel that. They understand that. And usually, at least I know this for Subway, you're only supposed to put 3 slices on a 6-inch. You're told exactly how much. And if you do it, there's usually a manager also right there to tell you you're
That
doing it
makes
wrong.
sense.
So, right before we started our podcast here, John, our partner here from iHeart, he's behind the camera here. He had brought up this whole conversation about marijuana screening and how a lot of these clients are starting to change up that process where when somebody takes a new job, most jobs will do a
Test.
drug screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Most of them will
Sure.
do it.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing a lot of these, our clients starting to kind of change that up, and they want us to take away the marijuana.
Oh, really?
Especially here in Michigan now that it's legal.
That's interesting because it's not federally legal. It's just
Right.
in Michigan.
Yep. So their mentality is, we need employees.
Mm-hmm.
So if the one thing that's going to hold us back from getting a pretty decent employee or a great employee is that, he likes to smoke marijuana in his free time, then let's just get rid of that obstacle.
Right.
And so it does make sense to me, as long as the person comes to work and they're not under the influence, because we work with industrial companies. So
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
machines running, you got high-lows going, you got all of this stuff. And we want to make sure that our employees are safe.
Does that put you at risk if they do happen to show up? Like, do you guys get...
No, because we still maintain a zero tolerance if you come to work under the influence.
Okay.
You treat it as if it was like alcohol, right?
Sure.
You can't come to work drunk.
No, right. That makes sense.
So
whatever you do on your personal time, that's your personal time.
Yeah.
But don't let it influence work.
Do you guys, when it comes to personal time, do you guys stalk's a bad word. Do you guys look at their Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff when they come in for a hire or no?
No, we don't do anything like that. So, I pride myself in working for this company because we really do look at giving people a chance.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, we work with just my office alone. We work with about 60 different clients.
Okay.
Now here in the Grand Rapids area, we have 3 different offices. So you're looking at about 120 different clients that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have a position for everyone. So
Oh,
it doesn't
nice.
matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't, what kind of skill sets you have.
Sure.
We have a position for everyone to come in. And so I pride myself in saying this, that we give that chance to people to prove themselves. So we're not really looking at I definitely don't have time to be stalking people on Facebook. I don't have that time.
Well, I just know that's a big thing.
Yeah.
My job is social media. So
Yeah.
everything that I do in life is posted on that.
Right.
But I know that if I wasn't doing this, I feel like a company that would be a factor when they go to look at, hiring.
Yeah.
So this is different in that way because you can still have your own personal life. It doesn't matter what you do at home as long as you don't bring it to work.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of feel like, and I understand why companies would do stuff like that when they would stalk somebody on social media, because a lot of people have this problem of being able to leave their personal life outside of work. They bring it into work.
Sure, yeah.
And so you kind of want to know, what are they going to bring into work?
Right.
So I can understand that mentality, but in my office, heck, if you can do the job, I don't care what you do in your personal life.
Have you ever seen anything though that somebody you've hired and you see something on their Instagram that made you go, hey, we got to talk about this? Is there anybody that's popped up?
Don't you only have like one of us that is your Facebook friend?
I think I've got all you guys on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
You only got one person on
I only
Facebook?
got one friend on Facebook.
One friend? I'll be your friend on Facebook.
It's Jesus. That's it.
I'm the only friend.
No, I think
on
I got everybody that I work with. I think I have them on Facebook. But again, I'm not huge into social media. The only reason why I have a Facebook page is because we use it for our church.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I have a Facebook page, is so that I can manage our church site. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. I don't have those applications. I don't look at that kind of stuff. I'm way too busy. I don't have time to sit down and look through those things.
Sure.
I understand the entertainment factor of it.
Right,
I understand why people get into it, but that's not my thing.
Right.
So no, I don't get into that stuff. But if I've never had that experience.
Okay.
Never had that experience
That's
where
good.
somebody comes in.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, we got to talk about this. Never had that before.
That's good. That's very good.
How about you?
No, because I've never.
You're probably watching what you post anyways, because that's your job, right?
Well, yeah, but there would be nothing. I don't get there's nothing that I would, everything I do in life, I talk about on the air anyways. There's nothing I have to hide. But I think it's silly to me that people post certain things anyways. Yeah. Like, say you do hard drugs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why are you posting on Facebook that you're doing hard? Like, why would you do that? I don't understand some of the things that people
and then
post.
Be angry with the consequences. of
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. But no, I've never had that experience. How about you, Susie?
Uh-oh.
Not really.
There was a stripper one time, and
I had to think about that.
long.
Well, I feel like my generation, a lot of people are getting into OnlyFans.
okay.
I'm not hiring any of these people or anything like that. A lot of them don't even live in the.
Is it you? Do you have an OnlyFans account?
Dude,
Are you selling feet pictures?
Are you trying to tell me something?
No,
Is that
man,
you're just throwing it out here to get our reaction to
Go
gauge?
follow me on OnlyFans.
Yeah. OF at.
No, but I feel like that's a really trendy topic right now.
Yeah.
The OnlyFans?
The OnlyFans.
Yeah. From what I hear, you can make a lot of money off of it.
Is that something that you'd ever?
Are you trying? I feel like you're trying to get me into your OnlyFans underground stuff you got going. I don't know how much you make. How much can I make selling feet pics?
Right.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
you
know.
said,
Guy
how
feet
many
pics?
do you
I don't
make?
know.
I don't think anybody's. But isn't that? I don't know how much we can talk about OnlyFans on here, but if we
It's
could,
nothing.
We can edit it out if Jeff will make that decision.
There's
there's
not
some-
really bad.
okay.
So we know what Jesus does in his personal
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
But no, the whole social media, what you do in your personal life is your personal business.
Yeah.
And I've had this experience before where people come into my office and they tell me something about their personal life, and I'm listening to them, and then after they're done, they kind of look at me and I'm like, why are you telling me that?
Right. Okay. But if you say what you do is your own thing or whatever, but what if outside of Forge Industrial Staffing, outside of what you guys do, say somebody works at a school,
Yeah.
right? But outside of that, they're doing OnlyFans stuff, targeting kids that are
But
under.
now you're influencing what happens at work.
How is that?
So if for your example, you're working at a school.
Okay.
I'm working around kids and I'm targeting kids. So now there's this, okay, what exactly is the goal here?
I
Should
see
we
what you're
be
saying.
worried with this person targeting these children and now working with children? Should that be something that we look into? Is that something
if
we
they-
should talk about?
If they didn't stalk their social media, they would never know that.
You're right. You're 100%.
So how do you get around that?
Again, if it doesn't influence me at work, if I don't know about it at work, I'm not looking into it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not looking at now. If I hear something going on and it's starting to impact what's happening at work,
And these are for internal employees.
yeah, we're talking about people that
External
I work
employees.
with,
Yeah.
my colleagues,
Yeah.
right? So if I've got something going on in the office and now I'm hearing these rumors, or it's interfering with the actual productivity of the work. So for example, somebody posted something on social media that offends somebody at work,
Okay.
and now it's starting to interfere with them too. I'm gonna have to get into the middle of that. I'm gonna have to interrupt that and see what's going on, what
Okay.
exactly is happening. And it's not necessarily like you believe what you want to believe in your own personal life, but why exactly is it bothering this person? And I try to get into the middle of that so that I can get rid of that problem.
Yeah.
And I give a warning to both parties.
Yeah.
If this is going to be a problem, if you're going to bring this into work, I need you to stop. And I need you to understand that this is something that if you have a problem with this in his personal life, he's not bringing it to work, get off his social media.
Okay.
And I don't want to hear either one of you talk about this ever again. And if this becomes an issue, both you guys are going to have a problem.
Okay.
So if it in that aspect, I'll get into the middle of it. But if it's not really doing anything to the company, if it's not really doing anything to anyone at work, do you, man?
You sell those feet pics.
Yeah. Do whatever you got to do to make it happen. If that's your side hustle, make it
Look,
happen.
all I know is that they make good money. It's not me though.
Sure. Check his tax return. I don't know about that.
Well, I think I don't know how we're doing on time, but I think we should be wrapping up here pretty soon. We're good, okay. So, and I want to finish off with this, and I asked earlier, and I want to get back to this. Any tips for us? We're just starting off with 3 episodes in. What could you advise me and Jesus here on what we could do to make things better?
I would start with OnlyFans. I think that's a good.
Well, we got a head start on that with Jesus here.
When I saw the outline of the show, I was going to suggest we should try to naturally incorporate those things. You guys did that. You guys naturally incorporated things. You still talked about, the stuff that you wanted to talk about, but we got to watch videos. We got to kind of share our personal stories. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I mentioned earlier, maybe shorten these to 15-minute segments or shorter.
For sure.
I like you're only 3 deep. It's kind of hard to
say where we're at.
Yeah. I guess find a goal.
Yeah.
What's the goal?
Yeah.
Of the podcast? What's the purpose?
We both work with a company called Forge Industrial Staffing right now. That's our sponsor.
Yep.
Right.
And we both love what we do. We're recruiters, and we're out here trying to find people work. So if you're looking for work, come to Forge Industrial Staffing.
Hey, there you go.
But the point of this podcast is it's not a commercial for our
We want to
company.
be separate from Forge Industrial Staffing.
Yeah.
But we also want to be like
But we want to talk about what we know.
Working in that industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as recruiters, we really want to focus on that work environment.
Okay.
Whatever work environment you're in, it's not just the industrial.
Sure.
Whatever work environment, that's really our goal. Is your experience at work? What do you do at work? Talking about different situations with Karen.
If I was gonna make a synopsis, this is what the show is about. This is exactly why people are gonna come back to listen to this. What would you say that is? Even in a sentence, if you could describe the show.
Will and Jesus. I'm just playing.
I would say that anything that has to do with like work related stuff. I don't think that there's a podcast for just like work stuff.
Well, and if you think about it, you spend more time at work than you do with your family. That's the case in my life. And I think the majority of the people spend more time at work than with their family. And so we have a lot to say about work, whether you're complaining or you're blessed and you love your job.
Sure.
So we do want to kind of focus on that. We want this to be something where people can listen to and say, that's exactly what I went through at work.
Okay.
That's exactly my job. That's exactly what I went through. And there's somebody talking about that. That's sweet. There's a podcast I can listen to, and they're talking about the experiences that I have at work. And so that's kind of what we want. We want to have a place where people can come and leave comments and talk about their experiences, and we can share that with people as well. So that's kind of, if we had to have a goal, it's talking about work, what happens at work and the different experiences that people have at work.
Okay, I like it.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, no, I like it. I like
We're
it.
in.
So you just got to have a direction and a reason that you want people to come back, and don't force it.
Yeah.
Don't ever force, if there's a topic or a subject that doesn't fit or it doesn't feel like it's going to work, just move on.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next thing.
For sure.
I like the video aspect of it. Does that play on the podcast?
Yeah.
I like that a
We got
lot.
a little Spencer. Once again, you're going to put the video right about here, right? Okay.
Oh, nice. So does this go somewhere? Does this go on social media? Does this go-
YouTube, Facebook.
So eventually we'll get it out there. We're 3 episodes and we haven't posted anything yet. So we're trying to get at least 4 or 5 episodes in before we start posting. That way we have, something to actually post.
I think we'll get the first one up pretty soon.
Yeah.
We wanted some in the chambers, so we weren't September.
Yeah.
I know you're not a big social media guy, but it's a huge
Get
tool.
out there?
Yeah,
Is that what you're telling me?
it's a huge tool. It
Jesus
is.
will make it happen.
I mean, even if, I don't know if you can put it on the website, but if you can put it on the website, put it on the website.
Yeah.
I know even with iHeartMedia, we put it. Everything goes on the website. Everything goes on.
If you want to improve your podcast, start listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Improve by listening to podcasts. So right now I do listen to
When you work
podcasts
out, whatever.
quite often.
Find
Yeah,
one
I'm
that
constantly listening.
you want to be. He's 100% right. Find one you want to be like.
Okay.
Maybe not do the exact same thing, but same with what I did coming up in radio. Is I've worked with many different morning shows, many different program directors, many different big bosses.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to take something, even if I didn't, necessarily work with this person, or there was, or they were my favorite.
Yeah.
I would take things I learned production from this person, and I learned, how to use a mic from this person. And I learned how to use, get better on social media from this person. I just everything.
Yeah.
So go listen and
So
take.
my biggest thing right now, listening to podcasts, I listen to like Smartless,
Okay.
the Conan podcast, and I just like listening to those entertainers being able to sit down and talk about their work history, talk about what things that happen like that. So that's kind of what we want to focus on here, is talking to people about their work history and what they do at work.
Hopefully we'll start taking some calls too eventually.
Yeah.
I think that would definitely work out.
There you go.
So it looks like our first episode's coming out 9:15.
Oh, look at that.
That's our plan anyway.
All right.
Look at Will.
Well, we want to tell Mike here, we really appreciate your time, man. We really appreciate you coming
thank you
out
for
here.
having me.
We know you're a busy man. We know you're out there doing your thing. And we really appreciate, we wanted you to be the first guest because you have your hands in this kind of world, right? And so we wanted to be able to sit down with somebody who knows what they're doing and talk about their job, talk about what they do at their work.
Well, thank you.
So we really appreciate that time. And we want to give you one last chance to talk about your podcast, Mojo in the Morning. Put in the last plug here real quick and
Slightly messy show.
let people know where they can hear you.
Yeah, so everyday weekdays on Mojo in the Morning on 104.5 SNX or iHeartRadio. That is 6 to 10. And then from 10:30, 11 to about 1, I'm on SNX in middays. And then I'm also on other stations on iHeartRadio, so you can check me out there. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. What am I missing? Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all at On Air Mike. I'd stay consistent if you're gonna do social media, have everything be the same.
Okay.
Everything exactly the same. I've always been told too, when you're putting a name into those things, almost have the title of it. What's the title of the podcast?
Forging the Future.
Perfect.
got it.
That's a great title. That's a great title because it explains kind of what it is. It puts in it's a great title.
Yeah.
So I would keep it all the same so people can find you easly.
Okay. So Forging the Future with Will, Forging the Future with Jesus. We got it, man. Taking notes. Well, we really do appreciate your time, man. We appreciate you, John, coming by too, sharing this time with us. But this is Will with Forging the Future. Jesus with Forging the Future.
You got Mike
With Forge in the Future.
Forging the Future and